What's going on, guys? Kevin Parkinson back with another episode of Father's Win. We're going to be reviewing a video that really doesn't show mom doing a lot of talking or dad. This is really more so a judge laying the law down. So let me give you guys the nitty-gritty, the short of what's going on. We got a mom here who is so bitter, so cantankerous, so anti her parental agreement that 7 months have gone by and dad hasn't seen the son. Not because of any issues other than mom's claiming she can't get the son over to dad's house. So let's see what happens when a judge stops playing and starts demanding justice happens. Here we go.
In hindsight, when I look back on that, it's very unfortunate. This matter should have been resolved sometime in last fall, before we had all of this delay. Court notes that originally started the trial back on December 2nd, 2025, and had multiple days after that. Culminating just last week with a final date of March 3rd, 2026, leading up to today's date. Parties were divorced by a judgment of divorce, ended back on December 7, 2020, and the judgment of divorce provides the parties with shared joint legal and physical custody of the children, and the parenting time was to be as mutually agreed. And at the time, the children lived with the with the defendant in Missouri and attended school there. The plaintiff then initially had parenting time during the summer in Michigan, as well as Christmas break, Thanksgiving.
Okay. Hold on one second. We got to rewind this just a little bit. But I've got to pause it right here. Look at mom's face. She's got this distraught, oh my God, really? I don't think he's too happy with me face. This is the same face I see with my co-parent every time we go to court. It's the same look. It's the same face. You know what it really is, guys? It's a spirit. It's a spirit of contempt. You might have a co-parent who intentionally is practicing parental alienation and is contemptuous against the court because she just doesn't want to follow the rules, guys. But this is what happens when a judge finally says, no more. We're not going to do this. I just wanted to point that out, guys. The look is always the same. Crazy.
Break, Thanksgiving, and spring breaks. The parties operated under the judgment of divorce until approximately February 2023. After moving to Michigan in February 2023, the parties essentially reversed their parenting time schedule in the judgment, and the defendant was having the boys in the summer, Thanksgiving, holiday, Christmas, and spring break. On August 13, 2025, the plaintiff filed an ex parte motion regarding custody and parenting time. As a result of the motion requesting the return of the boys, the court entered an ex parte order on August 14, 2025, ordering the defendant to return the children on August 17, 2025. The testimony would show that the defendant did not return the children on August 17, 2025, but they met on August 19, 2025 to return the boys. She says she did not receive the order for the return of the boys until after.
Okay, let's stop it right there. So mom's saying, oh, I didn't receive the order. I didn't receive the email. I didn't receive the letter in the mail. I didn't know that I had to get the boys over to the dad. That's already a red flag right there, because we as adults are required to be on our P's and Q's, especially when it comes on to matters of family court and our children. Ignorance is no excuse of the law. So there is a pattern going on here of mom not wanting to get the kids back to dad. There's a pattern, and I think judge is going to start to pick up on that, because the custodial environment that your child is in, it wanes if your co-parent doesn't want to follow the rules, guys. And I want you guys to write this stuff down, because there are ways to be able to fight back against this inside of family court. We're going to fast forward a little bit here and see what else the judge has to say.
Excepting for the summer, spring break, Thanksgiving, and Christmas breaks. There's no dispute that during this particular period of time, the defendant experienced an upheaval in her life in early 2023, and that prior to that time, the defendant maintained an established custodial environment with the children. However, this changed when she relinquished care of the children in February 2023. The defendant testified that plaintiff, his care of the children was to be only temporary until she got her life back in order and she had stable housing. She claims that she wanted the children back after school year in June of 2023, and she claims that she asked for the return of the children after this time as well. However, the court would note in reviewing the file of this matter, the defendant did not take any action. She did not file any motions to reacquire the children until this dispute arose in August 2023.
Okay, so let's pause it right there. Ultimately, the judge is calling her out. The judge is saying, we gave you the kids were living with you, you had every opportunity in the world to have the kids, then you relinquished the kids for over 2 years. You gave the kids back to dad. And when it was time to get the kids back, get a parental agreement, get things going again, you were null and void, as if you didn't care. That's what the judge is saying, as if you weren't interested. And now that the kids are back in your life, you mean to tell me that the parent who was solid this whole time, who has been there the whole time, who's been fighting this whole time, can't get access to the kids? You're the problem. So I am very happy that this judge did the right thing in calling mom out on this bull job. So let's find out ultimately the most important thing, what we came here for. What is the consequence for this kind of behavior?
22nd, 2025, at which time the court held that the ex parte order would not be set aside and would be enforced. This ruling was reflected in the order after hearing on defendant's motion dated October 8, 2025. Since the September 22nd, 2025 hearing and the October 8, 2025 order, the defendant has had 7 months to comply with the court order to return to Zachariah. The court will find that she has intentionally failed to comply with 2 court orders to do so. The court will find her in contempt of court.
Thank you.
And the court, as a result, could sentence her up to 90 days in jail. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to order and sentence her to 7 days in jail with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Department, and she shall remain in jail after the 7 days until such time as Zachariah is placed in the custody of the plaintiff. So in the event that she fails to comply at this particular point, that's what I wanted to.
So ultimately the judge is saying, you've tied my hands. You've had ample opportunities to get the child back to dad and you haven't. So what we're going to do now is this. I can give you 3 months in county jail. I can give you 90 days right now, but I'm going to spare you that. I'm just going to do 7 days. The 7 days is mandatory. But if that child is still not back with his dad at the end of these 7 days, you're just going to keep staying until he is. So we are going to halt your life to a screeching halt until you get all these things put back together. Unfortunately, that's what it takes in some situations for fathers to get some kind of justice. So this is one of those hearings where you're like, oh man, finally, about time. But also at the same time, at what cost? Some justice to happen. Why does court have to get involved? Why does somebody think that they have ownership over children when it takes 2 people to create a child? So to all my dads out there, you feel like you're stuck like Chuck, you have no power. You do. I'm here to tell you do. Document these things when they happen. Every single infraction of your parental agreement should be documented. So when you go back to court, because remember, the way I used to play the game is every time I thought there was an infraction, file it. Until one day that blew up in my face and the judge said, you have filed so many things. I can't even read through all this. It's ridiculous. Now she looks at me as if I'm just this crazy, overzealous parent who's just filing for the sake of filing. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just document the infractions. And when the right time comes to go back to court to renegotiate the custody of your child, you'll be able to show that you should be the primary parent, that you're the stable parent, that you are the more amicable and agreeable parent, that you are, and here's the word that saves the day in family court, that you are the reasonable parent. That's always the picture you want to paint. All right, guys? But I would love to hear what you guys thought about this judge's ruling. Drop a comment, like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next episode of Father's Win. All right?